Welcome back. A former high school teacher learns his punishment for having sex with a student on school grounds. 34-year-old Andre Brown was given 10 years behind bars for sex abuse of a minor. He was convicted in a second trial after the first ended in a hung jury. Brown was head coach of the High Point High School football team in 2013 when he took the 17-year-old victim to the boys' locker room and had sex with her.
This is someone who used his position of power and authority to prey on this student, and he should have known better, and we feel that he needs to be held accountable for that. I mean, we talk all the time about families and children, and this is someone who, even at 17 years old, this is still someone who is a child, who is in school, who should be protected and should be safe in that environment.
Family members, former colleagues, and players attended the hearing and made emotional appeals on his behalf, describing Brown as a father figure and mentor. Holding his two sons, Brown's grandfather and daughter say their family is struggling without him.
This situation is very hard. My father is my inspiration in life, and he makes me want to get up in the morning. He makes me want to do better for myself as a person.
He have I don't know how many friends that I wrote letters in telling how good he have been to them, how he have kept them out of trouble, how he have made him. He's a fraternity brother, and he's a church-going man.
So what happened not only in there today, but what happens to his reputation and his family, and going to jail for 10 years is, when you really understand who he is. There's no two Andre Browns.
Brown's attorney says she plans to appeal. Well, one man is dead and two others are injured in a head-on collision this afternoon in Laurel. Just before 1 p.m., officers responded to the intersection of Laurel Bowie Road and Loblolly Pine Drive for reports of a crash. Authorities say two vehicles were involved. One driver, an adult male, was pronounced dead on the scene. The other driver, an adult female, and a small child who was also in the car, were taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
And police are investigating a fatal crash that left two people dead. The incident occurring last night at around 11 o'clock at the intersection of Racetrack and Old Chapel Roads in Bowie. Officials say that a SUV and ATV collided with each other. Two riders in the ATV were seriously injured and later died from their injuries. Detectives are working to determine what caused the accident. The victims' names have not yet been released. And the third year of open enrollment for health insurance under the Affordable Care Act is underway. Janine Samuels is in the newsroom with the details on what you need to know to sign up or make changes before the deadline.
As you can see on the Maryland Health Connection website, there is an important reminder to all Marylanders. You have until January 31st, 2016 to browse, shop, renew, or make changes to your plan. And new this year, you can also get dental coverage.
For the first time this year, residents who need dental coverage can actually purchase dental coverage on the exchange. A lot of health plans don't provide dental coverage, and so this is an opportunity for people who don't have that coverage to get it.
Going into the third year, approximately 600,000 Marylanders, including 100,000 Prince George's residents, have enrolled in the exchange, and many of these are previously uninsured residents.
I would say somewhere around 60,000 or more are people that are actually new to the exchange and new to insurance. And so that's been really uplifting for residents to really finally get health coverage.
There are 3 ways to enroll or update your current coverage. Online, you can visit marylandhealthconnection.gov. You can also call 1-855-642-8572, or if you prefer a more personal touch, you can schedule an appointment to meet with a health navigator by visiting capitalhealthconnections.org.
We have a little mantra in Prince George's County, and it's called Get Covered, Get Seen, Get Healthy. So first you have to get covered so you can have your ticket to get in the door. But what we really want people to do is identify a primary care provider, to really find a medical home, to be forward-thinking about their prevention and wellness.
Now, the Affordable Care Act started in 2010, and one of the provisions of the law is that if you're between the ages of 18 and 64, you could be subject to a penalty if you are not insured. So, for example, if you file your taxes for 2015, it could cost $300 per person per household for anyone who is not covered. Now, the Prince George's County Health Department says, of course, we want our residents to avoid that tax penalty, but it's more important to be covered so that we can be healthier. In the CTV newsroom, I'm Janine Samuels.
And if you want in-person help with enrollment, Prince George's is holding a free event this Saturday from 10 in the morning to 2 p.m. at the Sports and Learning Complex in Hyattsville.
Metro announces its new leader. The transit system has appointed Paul Whitefeld as its general manager and chief executive officer. Whitefeld will serve a 4-year term and will make more than $390,000 a year plus benefits. The 60-year-old comes to WMATA with 30 years of public and private sector transportation management experience. He replaces Jack Requa, who has been serving as the interim GM since January. Whitefeld will begin his new job on November 30th.
And with 300 million guns in American homes, officials on Capitol Hill are calling for a better understanding of gun safety. Senator Ben Cardin and 19 other Democrats writing letters to requesting a GAO study on the effectiveness of firearm safety programs. The leaders are urging that information on how families and communities can secure weapons in households to be developed. The document states that in this year alone, 43 toddlers accidentally shot themselves or others, causing life-threatening injuries. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Rochelle Metzger.